Libra, this is not just any week. The first week of July brings more than shifting emotions. It brings a man into your orbit or closer to your heart. And he's not what he seems. He may look like peace, he may speak like a soulmate, but underneath the surface, he carries an energy that disrupts your balance, drains your clarity, and confuses your path. This man is not a blessing. He is a test, wrapped in charm, cloaked in intensity. And I know you felt it. The sudden silence in his responses, the way his words don't match his energy, the way your spirit tenses, even when your heart wants to believe. You're not paranoid, you're not overreacting. Your spirit is sharpening, not spiraling. Comment below right now if this resonates already. I sense something is off. Let your intuition write the first truth in the comments. Because Libra, by the time we reach the end of this message, you will understand why your soul is restless, and why this first week of July holds more meaning than you expected. Stay with me, because what you uncover today might protect your heart for the rest of this year. The energy shift around July 1st week, and why Libras are being tested. Libra, you are the child of balance, of grace, of fairness, and your soul naturally leans toward peace, toward beauty, toward trust. But as July begins, something feels off. The energy doesn't shout, it whispers, it disturbs. It unsettles you without explanation. You're not imagining it. The first week of July is not random, it's a spiritual checkpoint. And you, Libra, are being watched from the higher realms, watched for how you move, how you listen, and who you allow into your sacred space. There's a shift in the air. Not loud, not dramatic, but emotionally disorienting. And with it comes a man who may appear as comfort, but is spiritually confusing. He might say the right things. He might look like someone who understands you. He might even seem familiar, as if your heart remembers him. But deep within, you'll feel a hesitation, a tiny, quiet resistance in your spirit. That isn't fear, that isn't overthinking. That's divine discernment. Because Libra, this man is carrying energy that does not align with your growth. Maybe it's a lesson you've already survived. Maybe it's a distraction disguised as a connection. But he is not sent to stay. He is sent to awaken your attention. You see, the universe is not testing your heart to break it. It's testing your wisdom to strengthen it. And this time, you're not meant to repeat what you've healed from. This time, you are meant to recognize what's returning in a new form and choose differently. This man may carry sweet words and soft glances, but what's behind his smile? Is it truth or temptation? Is it healing or interruption? In the quiet moments of this week, you'll know, because your spirit already knows. He may reach out suddenly. He may reappear after a long silence. He may act like he's just curious, just kind, just friendly. But energy doesn't lie, Libra. Your energy has spent months repairing itself. And this shift in July is not meant to derail your peace. It's meant to reveal who still threatens it. So don't focus on who he is. Focus on how you feel when he's near. Are you grounded or anxious? Are you glowing or confused? Do you feel free or careful? That is your answer. That is your divine protection speaking. And that is why you must be more spiritually alert this first week of July than ever before. The universe is not sending you this man to love. It's sending you this moment to learn. And what you choose to do next will shape your emotional peace for the rest of this month. Listen closely, Libra, not to his words, but to your soul. The mask of affection. He's too nice, too fast. Libra? You know what real love feels like. It's calm, it's steady, it grows slowly, like morning light rising over water. But this week, there may be a man who shows up with too much, too soon. He may say all the right things. He may look deeply into your eyes. He may offer compliments, attention, and emotional closeness almost immediately. But pause, look deeper, because when someone comes rushing in with intensity, before truly knowing you, it's not always love. Sometimes, it's control wearing a romantic mask. He may be too curious, but not truly interested. He may give, but only to gain something in return. This kind of behavior can feel flattering, but underneath it something feels off. It feels like he's performing, like he's saying what you want to hear, but not really listening to your soul. Ask yourself, does he care about your heart, or is he just playing a role? Real love doesn't need to prove itself quickly. Real love takes time. It builds slowly, brick by brick, through trust and truth. But this man, he's moving fast. Too fast. And that's where the danger hides. Because Libra, you are naturally giving. you're kind, you're open-hearted, and people can feel that energy. But not everyone who notices your light has good intentions. This week, someone may try to enter your space by flooding you with attention. They may offer deep feelings without deep history. They may call you special, but never ask you meaningful questions. They might speak your love language, words of affirmation, quality time, thoughtful acts. But behind all of it, there's no real connection, just an illusion, a performance, a trap for your emotions. And that's where the spiritual warning lies. You see, manipulation often moves fast. It doesn't wait. It doesn't respect boundaries. It wants your heart before it's earned your respect. So if someone is showing up too intensely this week, if a man seems to fall for you before knowing your soul, step back, observe. Ask yourself, is he planting seeds or throwing glitter? Your empathy is a gift, Libra, but when used against you, it becomes a weakness. And this week, that gift could be exploited if you don't stay alert. This isn't about fear, it's about wisdom. It's about watching what people do when you don't give them immediate access. Do they stay patient, or do they start to guilt you? That's how you know. This week, trust what you feel over what you hear. Because this man might look like he's falling in love, but love without patience is not love at all. It's desire, it's impulse, it's danger dressed in kindness. And Libra, you deserve more than that. The man who feels too familiar, that's the danger. Libra, there's a strange feeling you might notice this week. A man may come into your space or return from your past, and he feels strangely familiar. Not just his voice, not just his presence, but the feeling he stirs inside you. At first, it may seem like fate. It may feel like you've met before in another life, another time, another version of yourself. But don't be fooled. Familiarity is not always love. Sometimes, it's a cycle reappearing to see if you've truly healed. When a person reminds you of a past emotion, a past relationship, or a past heartbreak, it's easy to believe they were meant to come back. But Libra, here is the deeper truth. Some people don't return because they're your destiny. They return because your wound still has a door open. This man may not be dangerous in obvious ways. He may not be cruel or disrespectful, but his energy carries something from the past. Something you worked hard to release. Something that nearly broke you before. And now, the universe is watching to see if you've really closed that chapter, or if your heart still flinches when it hears a familiar melody. Ask yourself clearly and honestly, am I feeling drawn to him because my soul feels safe, or because my past is still echoing? Being drawn to someone is not always love. Sometimes it's emotional muscle memory. It's your heart trying to find comfort in patterns, even painful ones. And that's what makes this week so spiritually sensitive. This man may carry the same energy as someone who once taught you a hard lesson. Different name, different face, but the same emotional confusion. That is the danger. Not because he's a bad person, but because his presence could reopen something that should stay closed. The universe is not asking you to be afraid of what feels familiar. It's asking you to look deeper. Don't mistake spiritual déjà vu for divine timing. Don't confuse a repeated emotion with real connection. Libra, you are not meant to recycle what once drained you. You are meant to recognize it and release it. So if this man feels like home too quickly, if his presence reminds you of an old comfort that turned into pain, pause. Sometimes the soul brings back a test, not to punish you, but to prove you've grown. This week is not about romance. It's about revelation. You are being shown what you no longer need. What you must now walk away from, peacefully, powerfully, permanently. You are not meant to repeat, you are meant to rise. Why he's showing up now? A divine interruption or distraction? Libra, ask yourself this from the deepest part of your soul. Why now? Why is this man appearing right now when you're finally starting to feel clear again? Why now when your heart is just beginning to feel light? Why now when you're focusing more on healing than needing? He's not here by accident. His timing isn't random. There is something spiritual about the way he enters your space this week. But not everything spiritual is meant to stay. This man may not be cruel. He may not mean harm. But his energy might carry confusion. His presence might stir your emotions in a way that clouds your clarity. That's the danger. He could be the very thing that slows your growth. Not because of what he does, but because of what he distracts you from. You've been making progress, Libra. real progress. You've been learning how to be whole without needing someone to fill the silence. You've been watering your own soul again. And just when the light begins to return, he shows up. Just when your heart starts to feel safe inside your own chest again, he reaches out. But not every connection is from the divine. Some are interruptions sent to see if you're truly grounded, to see if you've really healed, or if you're still willing to open the same doors you once had to close in tears. This man's presence may feel intense. He may say he felt guided to reach out. He may tell you it's fate, but the question remains, is it fate, or is it a test of your focus? Because when you're close to a breakthrough, distractions often dress themselves as blessings. They sound romantic, they feel exciting, but what they really do is pull you out of your purpose. They make you second-guess what you already know. They weaken your boundaries. They shift your attention away from your own healing and toward someone who hasn't done the same work. That is the real danger here. Not that this man is toxic, but that his presence arrives to interrupt, not enhance your path. This week, Libra, your lesson is not in how much you give, it's in how well you protect what you've gained. You are not required to entertain every soul that knocks. You are allowed to ask, what energy are you bringing into my life? You are allowed to say no, even to someone who seems nice, even to someone who stirs your feelings, because your peace is sacred, and your healing deserves protection, not pressure. So if this man shows up now, don't rush, don't fall. Just watch. Watch how you feel after speaking to him. Watch how your spirit reacts when his name appears. Watch if your heart feels calm or if your inner peace begins to fade. That's how you'll know. This is not a time to chase chemistry. This is a time to honor your clarity. Because sometimes what looks like love is just a distraction in disguise. And if you can see through it, Libra, you pass the test. Signs to watch for this week. Libra, this week isn't about fear, it's about awareness. The universe is asking you to pay close attention, because something small now can become something painful later if ignored. There is a man whose presence may seem harmless on the surface, but underneath the charm, there may be spiritual signs that something is off. And this time, you're not meant to overlook them. Here are the signs to quietly observe this week. 1. He doesn't honor your boundaries, but calls it love. He pushes gently. He oversteps emotionally. He may say, I just care about you too much when you ask for space. But love respects limits. Love listens. If he doesn't pause when you say no, he's not respecting you. He's testing how much you'll tolerate. 2. He's vague about his intentions, but intense about his feelings. He says, I really like you, but avoids answering, what are you looking for? He uses emotion to blur clarity. He creates a strong pull but leaves you in emotional fog. That fog, it's not mystery, it's manipulation. 3. He mirrors your words but lacks depth. He repeats things you've said. He seems like he gets you. But when you ask about his beliefs, his growth, or his values, he gets quiet. He changes the subject. That's not connection, that's imitation. 4. He makes you feel special, but also confused. One moment, he's warm, the next, distant. He says you're different, but disappears for hours. He builds you up, then withdraws without explanation. That hot and cold pattern, it's not passion, it's a red flag. 5. He pressures you subtly, yet says, I just care too much. He wants to move fast. He wants your time. He wants emotional access. And if you slow it down, he makes you feel guilty. He might say you're pushing me away, or I'm just really into you. But pressure, disguised as care, is still pressure. These signs don't always come with loud warnings. Sometimes they come wrapped in attention, in affection, in a soft voice that says I'd never hurt you, but behaves like someone who already is. Libra, spiritual warfare doesn't always sound like yelling. It can sound like flattery. It can sound like romance. But underneath, it drains your energy. It clouds your mind. It blocks your intuition. That's why this week, you are being called to be still, to say less, to watch more, to observe the energy more than the words. You don't need to accuse. You don't need to react. Just watch. Because when the energy is wrong, your spirit will feel it, even before your heart can explain it. Let this be your guide. Not fear, not doubt, but quiet, sacred observation. You already know what doesn't feel right. Now trust yourself enough to act on it. When the universe wants you to be alone for a reason. Libra, There is something important you need to understand this week. You are not alone because you're unwanted. You are not alone because something is wrong with you. You are alone because the universe is preserving you. This first week of July may feel quiet. You may feel distant from others. You might even wonder why no one is showing up the way you hoped, why the love you give hasn't been returned yet. But listen closely. That silence is not a punishment. It's protection. Sometimes the divine removes distractions before they arrive. Sometimes the people who would bring you chaos are blocked before you ever open the door. And in their place, you feel stillness, emptiness, solitude. But that solitude, it's sacred. It's God pulling you close, whispering, "Not him. Not now. You're too close to your purpose to let it be shaken." This week, you might crave closeness. You might miss having someone to talk to. You may feel tempted to go back to someone who once made you feel seen, even if that person also made you feel small. But craving connection, Libra, should never cost you your clarity. And this week, if the universe is creating space, it's because what's trying to enter may not be for your highest good. That man you're thinking about, the one who feels safe in moments but uncertain overall, he could be the very reason why you're being spiritually pulled inward. Because even if he's charming, even if he's kind, he may not be meant for your growth. And the divine knows what you don't yet see. This is not rejection. This is redirection. This is your spirit being asked to pause before it repeats the past. July is not just another month, Libra. It is a powerful spiritual shift for you, a time of deep transformation, a time where your choices will shape how the rest of the year unfolds. So ask yourself honestly, does this connection feel like peace or like pressure? Do I feel safe around him, or do I just feel afraid of being alone again? The difference is everything. You are not meant to fill your loneliness with someone who drains your light. You are not meant to settle just to feel less empty. You are being asked to wait, to rest, to listen, to remember who you are when no one else is trying to shape you. Sometimes the universe lets people walk away so you can walk further into your calling. And sometimes it holds you in solitude, so you don't settle for a version of love that's only half healing. So this week, don't rush into connection. Don't chase what feels inconsistent. Don't respond to someone just because they reached out. Respond only if your soul feels at peace. And if peace isn't there, let the silence speak for you. The emotional damage of letting the wrong man in. Libra, let's be honest, not every mistake breaks your heart. Some mistakes break your direction. Some take away your confidence. Some make you question what you knew deep inside was true. And that's the risk this week. If you let the wrong man in, especially now when your spirit is still healing, you might not see the damage at first. He may not say harsh words. He may not betray you in obvious ways. But slowly, quietly, you'll begin to feel yourself changing in ways you didn't agree to. Your thoughts may become cloudy. Your heart may begin to doubt its own strength. You may start to shrink just to keep him comfortable. And little by little, you'll lose the peace you fought so hard to create. This is not always about love. It's about energy. And when the wrong energy enters your life, it doesn't always break you loudly, it shifts you quietly. You begin to overthink. You begin to overlook the signs. You begin to silence your own needs just to keep a man who never truly saw your worth in the first place. And the damage that does, it's deeper than heartbreak. Because what hurts the most is not that he leaves. It's that you stopped showing up for yourself while trying to keep him around. Libra, you've done the work. You've cried through growth. You've healed pieces of your heart that others didn't even know they broke. So why hand over your progress now? Why gamble your energy just because someone showed up with timing, but no real intention? This week is not the time to open your heart recklessly. It's the time to protect it wisely. If a man walks into your life this week, and he makes you second-guess your worth, your values, your progress, then he is not from the divine. The universe never sends someone who leads you away from your truth. Only the enemy does that. And he never comes looking like danger. He comes with charm, with timing, with interest that feels exciting, until you realize it's costing you parts of yourself that you worked so hard to reclaim. So don't let him in just because he knocks. Don't open the door because you feel lonely. You are not lonely. You are in protection mode, and that space between you and the wrong man is where your real healing lives. Libra, you've come too far to return to someone who doesn't see all of you. You've grown too much to explain your light to someone who's only here for the surface. This week, guard your soul, not with walls made of fear, but with wisdom made of experience. If he confuses your intuition, if he drains your energy, if he shifts your focus away from your own healing, then he's not here to love you. He's here to test you, and you've passed this test before. Don't fail it now by calling it love. Your spirit knows. Trust it this time. Libra, he might show up at the perfect time. He might text you when you're most vulnerable, late at night when your thoughts are loud and your heart feels open. He may look at you with eyes that seem full of meaning. He may say things like, "I feel something special between us." He may speak with emotion. He may even sound convincing. But beyond his words, beyond his energy, there is one voice you must listen to most right now. Your own spirit. Because your spirit already knows. Even if your heart is still undecided, even if your mind wants to believe the best, even if your loneliness wants to give him a chance, there's something inside you that hesitates. A quiet whisper, a deep tug, a pause in your chest when he speaks. That's not confusion. That's clarity trying to break through. Libra, your heart is a compass. It doesn't always use logic. It doesn't always make sense to others, but it feels, it knows, and when it starts pulling back, that means something is not aligned. Don't ignore that. So many times you've pushed aside your own voice just to avoid feeling alone. So many times you've let doubt speak louder than discernment. But this week, you must choose differently. Don't override your truth for temporary warmth. Don't silence your knowing just because someone is showing up in a way that feels romantic. Your boundaries are not walls, they are doors with locks. Only the right energy should have the key. And if you feel even the smallest doubt, that's reason enough to pause. This week, your silence is more powerful than your replies. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't owe anyone access to your peace. If his words feel heavy, if his presence feels rushed, if your body tenses after you speak to him, that's your inner guidance protecting you before harm arrives. Don't talk yourself out of what you already know. Don't wait for proof of pain. Choose peace the first time, because repeating what you once had to recover from is no longer your story. Libra, you've outgrown the version of yourself that entertains confusion. You've become too aligned to settle for maybe. You deserve certain, you deserve clear, you deserve safe. This man may not be your enemy, but if your spirit keeps saying something's wrong, then that is enough. That is everything. So trust your spirit, not tomorrow, not after things go wrong, but now. Let your silence speak where your words won't be heard. Let your energy say no before your emotions try to say yes. Let your discernment win, because this week, that's your real protection. The warning wasn't fear, it was love. Libra, take a deep breath, because this message wasn't sent to scare you. It was never about making you afraid of love or of someone new. It was sent to awaken you, to remind you that the tension you've been feeling lately, that discomfort in your chest, that voice in your mind saying something doesn't feel right, that wasn't anxiety. That wasn't overthinking. That was divine protection. That was your inner wisdom speaking before your heart got caught in confusion again. You are not weak for feeling cautious. You are not broken for needing time. You are aware. You are spiritually in tune. And this first week of July, it's not just a test of love. It's a test of alignment. You're not being told to run. You're being told to observe, to slow down, to listen deeper than usual, to stop explaining your intuition and start honoring it. If a man shows up and your spirit starts to pull back, that isn't fear. That's clarity. That's love from the divine saying, you've come too far to repeat what once broke you. Libra, you are at a turning point. This is not a moment for romance to lead you away from your center. This is a moment to stand firm in your truth. Even if that means standing alone. You are not walking through life empty-handed. You are walking with guidance. You are walking with grace. You are walking with a light in your spirit that cannot be dimmed by false affection. If this message touched you, type in the comments, I trust my spirit. I choose clarity. Let that be your affirmation this week. Let that be your protection. And if you felt seen by these words, if this message gave you peace, gave you pause, gave you permission to trust your gut, then subscribe for more guidance just like this. because each week you'll need reminders like this to stay centered and safe. Libra, you are divine, you are discerning, you are deeply protected. The universe is not warning you to scare you, it's loving you enough to prepare you. So walk forward, not with fear, but with vision. Not with doubt, but with wisdom. Trust it, trust yourself. Because that guidance you felt while listening, it just saved your heart from a storm you didn't even see coming.